Good morning and welcome to the video for Monday, January the 4th. This is going to be a video for third grade for math. Hope you guys have had a great Christmas break and have enjoyed your time with friends and family. We are hopefully going to get to see each other again very soon, assuming that we get through the end of the next week and a half and are able to return to school after that. So let's go ahead and take a look at our lesson. We are going to be doing a little bit different layout. So if you are familiar with my previous videos, this part did not exist before, but it does now. And so that will give us what the homework will be. So that will help keep me on track. And I might put little extra notes in there, little tidbits to remember. But otherwise, I'm going to be working in this portion of the screen. So my rules for this are always, if you need to, go ahead and pause the video to work on things. I may give you a prompt to do that. If you don't understand something and you need to hear it a second time, go ahead and stop the video, rewind it, and then go ahead and watch it again before you keep going on. That way you understand what we're doing, because I'm going to move fairly quickly, maybe a little bit more quickly than I would in class, with the understanding that you can rewind and watch again if you need extra assistance. Also, I'm not going to be doing a separate video to cover the homework. That's the other thing. That ended up not being very productive because I had a lot of people just copying answers off the homework video and then not really knowing how to do anything. So I will take a look at your homework when we are back in building. You can send me pictures to my school email. You can post it in Google Classroom, or you can turn the paper copies in at school if you want to do that. Otherwise, I will take a look at that when we get back, and then we'll use the remainder of that week to kind of review the 5 lessons that we will be doing out of our Go Math book. All right, so here we go. We are going to be starting a new chapter working again with division. So we're kind of backtracking a little bit, and we are going to use some of the same strategies we've used before. So on our first page, we are going to be working with dividing by 2. We have 10 hummingbirds and 2 feeders. We are going to break those up evenly into equal groups to make sure that each bird feeder has the same number of birds at it. So what they want us to do is go ahead and continue making the counters. We've already started that. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw red circles and trace over that. So I've used 4. Now I've used 6, 8, and then 10. Each time we're going to fill up 1 in each group, then recount to make sure, or we can count it by 1. So we might have started 1, 2, and then as I'm circling, I would keep counting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to make sure that I'm keeping track of how many counters I'm supposed to be using. And so it looks like when we are done, we are going to have 5 counters in each of the 2 groups, and we will have 5 hummingbirds at each feeder. And so if we wanted to look at the division problems, the way that we're used to seeing it right now would look like this. And in time, we will be doing more with a what we would refer as long division, writing the problem like this. And we will be doing this almost exclusively once we get into 4th grade, because we'll be working with larger numbers and we will have to do more than one step. For this, we don't have to worry about that. So let's go to our next page. I think that is a page turn for you guys. All of this will be page turns for me. So if I say turn the page and you don't need to turn the page, I apologize in advance. So we are doing the same 10 hummingbirds, and there are 2 hummingbirds at each feeder. So we are going to circle groups this time, which we will be doing throughout our lesson. So here's our first group. So go ahead and circle the rest of the groups, and then we're going to count the number that we have. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. And so you can actually kind of get a little bit of a hint to the answer looking out here. But we would go ahead and continue circling. This is a little bit trickier with a mouse than if I had a tablet that I could write on and make it show up on the thing. But so we are going to have 5 equal groups, and so that means we would have 5 bird feeders this time. So number 1, we are going to, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do all 4 of these really quickly. So number 1, we need to go ahead and finish the picture and then give the answer. Number 2, we are going to write a division equation. Same thing for number 3 and number 4. Now, we've already done this in our previous chapter. So things to keep in mind, we need to find the total number of counters. That's going to be our large number. So that would be the beginning of our division problem. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So this would be the beginning number because that's the large number. One of the numbers is going to be the number that we have in each group, and the other number is going to be the number of groups that we have. So keep those three things in mind, where those should go, and you could have a different answer depending on if you choose the total number of counters to, the total number of counters in one group versus the number of groups as being your final number. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to, and when you're ready, go ahead and hit play. All right, so assuming you've done that, hopefully you have, let's go ahead and take a look. So we start with 2 counters. We need 6 total. So that's going to give us 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's going to give us 3 counters in one group. So 6 divided by 2 would equal 3. I'm not sure where this extra little blip came at. I guess it's supposed to be a period, but it looks like the way that it's written is a little off center for my picture. All right, for number 2, we have 8 total counters. We have 4 equal groups, and that means we would have 2 in each group. So we can do 8 divided by 2 equals 4, or 8 divided by 4 equals 2. The next one, we have 12 counters in 2 equal groups, and so that would give us 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Or we can switch these two numbers around and get 12 divided by 6 equals 2. And the last one, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 counters. We have 7 equal groups, and we have 2 in each group. And we can also do 14 divided by 2 equals 7. We want a division problem again. So same kind of thing. Go ahead and pause the video. There's nothing different here. We're just working with different pictures and different numbers. So again, your large number is going to come first, followed by either the number of groups or the number in each group. So go ahead and pause again. And assuming that you're ready, this one's actually really easy because we had a smaller number. So we have 4 divided by 2 equals 2. And this time we only need to write one time. There's not going to be another option. So we could say that, yeah, we'll do 4 divided by the number of groups, and then this number would be the number in each group. But since the answer and our divisor are both going to be 2, so this would be our, our starting numbers are dividend. Our divisor is the number that we divide by, and our quotient is our answer. So since our divisor and our quotient are the exact same number, we don't need to really write it a second time. We could also say that we could do 4 divided by 2 in each group, gives us 2 groups. All right, so number 6, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 again. Nope, sorry, we got 16. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 divided by 2 equals 8. Equal groups. We could also do 16 divided by 8 equals 2. This one, we have 9 in this group and 9 in this group. That gives us 18 divided by 2 equals 9. And we could also do 18 divided by 9 equals 2. All right. So for number 8, I don't suspect anyone's going to need to go ahead and draw a picture to help with this, but in case you did, it could look a little bit like this. So I am going to make 2 equal groups, and I am going to use 2 counters. So I'm almost kind of drawing like little red eyes here. So here's one of my counters, and here's another counter. Actually make it look kind of like an eye. Oops. And so we've got one counter in each group for that. For this one, we can do 16 divided by 2. Hint, you probably already have a picture that's going to help with that one. This one, so we have our long division. So I will worry about teaching you how that works later once we get more practice. But for right now, what we want to do, we want to make two equal groups. And this time I'm going to just do little x's. And so we're going to put an x, and I probably didn't make this large enough, knowing what the answer is. But that's how we would start. We're going to go ahead and put one counter in each group. So go ahead and work on these two problems real quick. And when you're ready, go ahead and push play. All right, so for our first one, we could do a similar thing. We could start with two large groups. And then we would put our counters in each group. So if I did that, that would end up giving me 8 counters. So I could do 1, 2, and then by the time I would get all the way through there, I'm not going to take the time to draw it, that we would end up with the correct number. And it looks like I kind of put this a little bit off screen. There we go. All right, the next one, we are looking for 10 in each group. All right. Number 11, 12, 13, and 14. We can use an inverse problem to find the answer. And so what that means is we can do the opposite of division to find the answer or a missing number. Now, in this case, our missing number is going to be the dividend or the large number that starts our division problem. So to find that big number, we can do multiplication. So what I want you to do is to go ahead and do the multiplication problems and then go ahead and find the answer. So for instance, we would do 5 times 2 for this one. So we can do 2 times 2, 3 times 2, and 8 times 2 to find our starting number for our division problem. So go ahead and do that. Pause the video if you need to, and when you're ready, hit play. All right, here we go. So this is probably a little bit easier. I know there are quite a few of you, if we were doing this live in class, you would probably already have this part filled in, and I wouldn't be able to blame you because you understand how this works. But just in case you end up needing a little bit of refresher on that, we are going to do 5 times 2. So if we count by 5s 2 times, that would give us 10. If I count by 2s twice, that would give us 4. 3 times 2 would give us 6, and 8 times 2. We could do 8 plus 8 to get 16, or we could count by 2s 8 times, and that would give us 16 as well. Number 15, we have a tile design with 16 tiles. Half of the tiles are red, and half of the tiles are blue. And so he takes away 4 red tiles. How many tiles or red tiles are there in the design? So one of the things I am going to go ahead and add because, oh wait, but you still won't see it at the beginning. Never mind. I was going to add in to write in here that you might want something that is colored to be able to help with this part. But then I remembered like I can't go back in time. I mean, I could go back in time and restart the video. It looks like I'm a good ways into this, so I don't think I'm going to do that. But what I will do is go ahead and watch this thing redraw my screen for me. Thanks. So we want to figure out what half of 16 is. Now, we could go ahead and look at problem number 14 and figure out the answer to that. And then from there, we can go ahead and draw our 8 red tiles. So I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is make them all in a straight line because I've got enough space to do that. And it says half the tiles are blue. The only part we need to worry about now is how many red tiles we will have left over when we take away 4 of them. So I start with this many, 8. I can take away 4 of them. And so if I do that, I could actually just erase them. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so That would give me my answer of 4 red tiles remaining. And let's see. Okay, so Becky made 2 videotapes while a giant hummingbird fed 4 times and a ruby-throated hummingbird fed 8 times from her new feeder. Each videotape caught the same number of feedings by the hummingbirds. So how many feedings were shown on each? So now one of the things that we can do with this is actually um, go ahead and say that one of the videotapes got half of this and got half of this, and then add it together. That's one way we could do it. We could add these two numbers together and then divide by 2, and say that each videotape um, got the same amount. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we can do is we can go ahead, and I'm going to do this with a picture. So this is going to be my giant hummingbird. Now I am going to have to make a second row here. No, maybe not. That can be 7 and that can be 8. So we need to go ahead and split both of these in half and then add them together. So I'm going to use green. So this part's going to be for tape 1. This part's going to be for tape 2. If I go ahead and take my 8, I can draw a green line here, and this would be for tape 1, and this would be for tape 2. So now if I go ahead and add those together, then that would give us 6 feedings on each videotape. All right, let's look at our homework problems real quick. Again, we are going to be doing 2 through 6 on the front. So that's going to be these 3. You may need to draw a picture for this one. You might also be able to go back through your lesson that we've already talked about and find pictures that go with these problems. Actually, I think we can find a picture for this one for sure. I believe we have a picture already for this one. So we may not have to work too terribly hard with that. I am asking you to skip 7 and 8 because we're going to do 1 and 2 on the back. One of the ones I want you to do is to go ahead and talk about how to divide an amount by 2. So remember, our dividend is the starting number. Our divisor is the number that we're dividing by, and the quotient is going to be the answer. So if it tells us we're dividing an amount by 2, that would give us what the divisor would be. So there's your hint for that. You should be able to figure out the other 2 parts from there. All right, and on the back, I want you to do number 1 and 2. So we're working with 12 divided by 2 and 8 divided by 2. With that, this is a multiplication problem. You can draw a picture for this one. So if we were to draw a picture, we could go ahead and start by drawing our 3 equal rows. So we're going to draw 3 from the top to the bottom, and this is going to be the starting point for each row, and then we would add 1 to each row. So we would count 1, 2, 3, and then we keep going, counting it by ones, adding 1 to each row at a time. Number 5, we want to describe what that pattern is. Are we counting up or down? So are we adding or subtracting? And what number are we doing that by? And then this one, it looks like it would be a multiplication problem. So that concludes everything I want you to look at for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in Google Classroom, or you can send me an email. I will not be doing a homework video that reviews all the answers. So if you are stumped on something, you need to ask for help, and that's perfectly fine. I am trying to make sure that I have time slots available so that people can come in and ask questions and so forth while I'm at home. So I will let you guys know about that. I'm also looking at doing like private lesson kind of thing where people can sign up for a time spot and work individually one-on-one with me with whatever they need help with homework or other things. So hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you very